BNET, the national provider of fibre optic networks in the Kingdom of Bahrain, is leading not just in the region but globally, as they win international awards and enter into strategic partnerships with communications giants to bolster the national economy and elevate the broadband experience in Bahrain. They are preparing the kingdom to harness the power of emerging technologies. And so to tell us more, I'm delighted to be joined by Ahmed Jaber Aldoseri, the CEO of BNET. Great to be with you, Ahmed.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Ahmed, BNET recently won the Best Fibre Deployment Award globally, amongst other accolades as well. What is it that distinguishes BNET from other companies, particularly as it pertains to your business model?
I think being a pure play broadband provider and infrastructure provider for telecommunications has given us a strong focus on this area. Operating in the only fully liberalized market in the region allows us to focus on enabling others in terms of the competition at the service layer and the retail layer. And so having that focus purely on infrastructure and on wholesale was a very strong driver for us to achieve this excellence in the fiber deployment.
You know, when we look at the recent UN e-Government Development Index, Bahrain's telecommunications infrastructure index surged a staggering 55 points to go all the way up to 10th place globally. Talk to us about how BNET contributed to that remarkable achievement.
I think BNET does not operate in isolation. At the outset, it is important to have a clear national direction in this regard. And in Bahrain, we have a triennial telecommunications policy which sets out the objectives for the country. And so as we're the exclusive broadband provider, we have a strong incentive to provide the coverage regardless of uptake or penetration. And so whether there are subscribers that are available or not, BNET deploys. And we focus on this mission and push as quickly and as powerful as we can to ensure the infrastructure is ready first. And it's typical to ask the question, should we wait for the clients first or should we have the infrastructure first? And for us, it's quite clear. The infrastructure has to be ready. And that is really important for attraction of investment, of operators to come to the country. And I think that is what we mainly focused on. And of course, having a very robust and mature regulatory environment, which gives us the confidence to operate in it.
And so what would you say, Ahmed, is BNET's most strategic asset?
I think for us, it is important to have the team that is capable of driving the company forward. And I say that fully cognizant that there is sort of it's called a dilemma that we see it across the region, and that employees are looking for the right environment. We have to build that right environment. Employees have to feel that they are respected, that they are safe, that they are empowered in the workplace. Otherwise, they won't actually contribute successfully. I think through focusing on having the right environment, for us, even the turnover rate has reduced from 14 or 15% down to below 4 or 3% in the company. And having the right kind of people on board, and of course having the right regulatory environment. For us, the clear policy of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, which says this is how he would like to see the sector in a few years, is a clear plan for us to go forward. So I would say focus on people first. All other elements and aspects would come naturally.
If another country or another company wants to replicate what BNET has been doing, what do they need to do to replicate that kind of success?
I think being able to have a focus of mission is quite critical. There are zero distraction in BNET. As a rule, we've set in the company that we're not going to compete on anything we do with our own customers, and that's the retail providers. And there's more than 10 or 12 in Bahrain. I think any company that wants to replicate this success will have to focus on its people, have to work hand in hand with the policymakers and the regulators to ensure that the environment is ready for them to do what they would like to do in infrastructure. And then, of course, the choice of technology, something that is forward-looking, is quite critical. I mean, in many companies, we see them building for 1 year or for 3 years. We prefer to build for 5 to 10 years as much as possible. But it's not easy.
Of course it's not. And speaking of the future, building forward, you know, the networks that BNET is providing is crucial for what is happening in terms of implementation of emerging technologies. So when you're looking at the advancements coming up in AI, in technology overall, how is that influencing what you're going to be doing at BNET and the wider broadband industry as a whole in the near future?
I think we take things one step at a time. Where it's very critical for us not to jump on the hype wagon. We see AI having tremendous benefits in the future, both in terms of the value that it brings to consumers and the optimizations that it brings to organizations. But we have to be careful in how we proceed with such emerging technologies. AI, as an example, would require everyone in the organization to be a prompt engineer, to know how to work with AI. And so there's that added layer of complexity in that even if you have it, how do you get the most out of it? For us in BNET, we've set up an initiative, we've called it BNET, and that is how do you manage entirely our data platform, and how do we utilize AI to actually gain the biggest benefits out of it. But we're taking a measured approach, as opposed to the sort of quickly get on top of it and invest in it without fully considering all of the elements that affect it. And so I think my advice generally would be to proceed with cautious optimism moving forward to adopt these technologies. But I think they're going to be wonderful once we see widespread use and adoption.
Ahmed Jaber Aldoseri, congratulations on your recent success, and we're excited to see what's ahead for BNET.
I'm excited as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.